So now we're going to look at lines, transversals, and angles that pop up in those. You may or may not have done the Desmos activity before this. You could either do it before or after this lesson. That's up to you. But the Desmos does show you some really neat properties that are true. So we're talking about two lines that intersect each other. You can see doesn't matter what this angle is, but one of the properties is that this angle here is equal to this angle here, and this is a really great visual. This one I call the X pattern, or known as opposite angles. Opposite angles are equal, and regardless of how big it is, those opposite angles are equal. So a really neat little visual to show that. There's a couple of other cool visuals. I'm not going to go through all the slides here. You can go around and play with this Desmos activity. There's this idea about a straight angle or supplementary angles, that these two angles add up to 180. So it doesn't matter where we get there. So if I can get a nice round number, it'd be good. It doesn't matter. If you take, oh, there we go, 140, this angle plus this angle is 40. That's equals to 180. So supplementary angles are equal to 180. Doesn't matter if you're above the line or below the line, we get those supplementary angles add up to 180. So there's a good visual about that concept. The opposite angle you've already seen, but here it is. Not only would these ones be opposite, these opposite green ones are opposite, but so are the black ones. They're opposite and therefore equal. And it doesn't matter how big or small the angles are. I can even get it like right there. Those are 85 and those are 95. We usually see stuff like this. They're 56 and 56, and since we know this is 180, we can figure out this is 180 minus 56, or 124, and it's opposite side. And those are opposite angles, or sometimes known as the X pattern. Then there's a bunch of other patterns that I'm sure you've played around with before. This one's called the Z patterns. It says alternate angles are equal, so this angle equals this angle. You can see it there. It kind of looks like more like a Z here. You see the Z. So this angle would equal this angle, but it doesn't matter whether it's backwards Z or not. These angles are equal. So that's the alternate angle theorem. Z pattern. So you could use it to answer those. We also have the F pattern, and if you see we've got an F, I can actually draw it here. Oh no, I can't. I don't mess up the picture. I don't want to do that. So if I drew it like here, I can draw it on my smartboard. Here is the F that we're looking at. So there's the F pattern, and it says that this angle here is equal to this angle, and you see it makes an F. And it doesn't matter what those angles are. This one's 119.9. I could change it to, I had a nice one there, 132. Anyways, doesn't matter. As long as you have that F, and that F can be backwards as well. So this angle, this opposite here, or this alternative supplementary angle there and there are also equal. So it doesn't matter if you have the F in a different patterns. So there's a good visual and proof of that one. Then we have the C pattern. So the C pattern going like this. Now the C pattern doesn't tell you two angles that are equal, but it tells you that this one plus this one add, well, I guess I should use a different symbol. This one and this one add to 180. So if you know one of them, you could get the other one by doing 180 minus that. And again, I'll erase that and just show you that it doesn't matter where the transversal is on these parallel lines. You will get them adding to 180. Let's see if I get a nice one. Oh, there we go. 129 plus 51, so that's 170, 180. You see that perfectly. Maybe I can get another nice one. And again, it doesn't matter if the C goes over here. Let's see if I can get a good one. Oh, so close. Oh, so close. It's probably painful if you're watching me. There we go. 69 and 111. 111 plus 69 is equal to 180. All right, so great. Another visual of the C pattern. And then you can put it all together and answer questions like this, which we're going to talk about in our activity. Now, before I had Desmos, I had these graphs, this property here. So the idea of this one being 70 degrees, so this one must be 180. So I could take this, rotate around. I know the whole thing has to add up to 180. So this angle here Oh wait, I gotta go like down here. So 180 minus 70 must be 110, and you can see that the angle from here to there is 110. So that kind of works. That's the supplementary angle. So if that's 70, then that's 180 or 110. And then you can go opposite again, so 70 and 70. So if this is 70, then I can replicate this. I'm going to clone it and flip it around. And you'll see then that this must be 70. And then this must be 180 over here, because 180 minus 70 is, there's the 180, the straight line, so that whole thing is 180 minus the 70. So that's a pretty good visual too. I like the Desmos visual because it doesn't matter what the angles are, the property still holds true. So there's the opposite angles, the X pattern. So you see the X pattern here. There's an X right here, and that says that this and this are equal, and this are equal. So that's the X pattern. Is it true if they're not parallel? Well, no. You see, there is 66. 66 minus 180, that's 114. Okay, so that's straight, but if they're not parallel, you see this guy is not the same. The F pattern doesn't hold true. They have to be parallel in order for this to work. Oops. Same thing. If I was to flip it around, or sorry, just move it down, use the F pattern to move it down, you can see that that one's not 66. Okay, so they have to be parallel in order for these properties to work. And so here's a good little visual summary of them. Of course, in a quadrilateral, there would be there'd be all the parallel ones. So here's opposite angles. So that one inside is equal to the one outside. We can see a Z pattern right here. Says that that angle equals that angle. Or a backward Z says this one and that one are equal. You can see the F pattern happening here because you got parallel lines. So you said those two are equal. It could be a backwards F. So those two are equal. And then we have the zero, the co-interior, the C pattern, and they don't tell you that they are equal, but they do tell you that they add up to 180. So again, some neat visuals just to make sure we all have all those. So these are all summarized on your sheet. The Z pattern, F pattern, C pattern, and X pattern, and we'll use those to try and answer a couple of questions. So we have this picture here, and there's lots of ones that we could find first. I usually like to find the ones that are equal really quickly. So I see that this guy is 80 here. So its opposite angle must also be equal, so that means that B is equal to 80. That's the X pattern right there. Okay, so that's opposite angles. The other pattern that I see is a backwards F. And so if this is 80, then this one must be 80. And they just look 80, don't they? So F, so that means H must be 80 as well. I can even drag this down here to show you that, yep, that's actually equal to 80 as well. So we've got that F pattern there. Oops, I erase this. So that's 80. So this is 80. X pattern means that this is going to be 80. This is 80. I can even see that that guy is 80 from the Z pattern. So here's a Z. And that says co-interior angles are equal. So those guys are equal. And so both of those are equal to 80 as well. So F is also equal to 80. Lots of reasons why those are 80. And then at the top, I see I could either look at this as being a straight angle, 180. So if this one's 80, this one over here must be 100. I'm not going to do that in black. Okay, here's 180. So the one that's up at the top here is 100 because the whole thing's 180. You could also see this part here is X. And so, or sorry, it's a straight line, so you get 80 plus 100, and we get 180 that way as well. So we just figured out that the other A is 100, and then opposite to that is also 100. F pattern down to here is also 100, and across from it, opposite from it, is also 100. And we have all of our answers. So I'm going to let you try example 2 on your own. We can pause the video for a second, and then we'll come back and check your answers. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to try this on your own. And you can see that if that guy is 73, then opposite is also 73. Z pattern gets you 73. Its opposite is 73. You could also do the F pattern. All of those ones are 73. 180 minus 73 is 107. So we get 107 for all of this. Its opposite, F pattern down to here, and the opposite to get 107. All right, next. Since this is a parallelogram, you can imagine that this is the same situation, 2 parallel lines and then lines crossing through them. So, and it's also some of the properties of a parallelogram. So how can we find these? Well, if this guy over here is 45, this is a parallel and a transversal, then this guy here must be, the C pattern must add up to 180. The C pattern tells me that. So this is going to be 180 minus 45, and that's going to be 135. So that means this guy is 135. Now, how can I do the rest of this? Well, if you can see, we actually have an F pattern on its side. Here it is. Here's the F pattern. And the F pattern says that this guy here, this guy is equal to this guy. So this is 45 degrees as well. And so, oh, I forgot the, so there's 45. Forgot to write in the red one was 135. So then all that's left is, what is the B value? Well, I see a Z pattern here that says that this guy here must be equal to that. So that's also 45. So 45 degrees. It's also kind of neat to notice one of the properties of a parallelogram. So notice I've got this straight angle here. Straight angle, 180 degrees. From here all the way to here is 180. If this one is 45, the other one must be 180 minus 45, which is 35. Even though I wasn't asked to find that one. But it does show you one of the properties of a parallelogram, that opposite angles in a parallelogram are equal. And you can see that here, that these are equal. And they, of course, since the C pattern is going to say these two are going to add up to 180, which means these two add up to 180. 180 plus 180 is 360, which is what a parallelogram has the interior angles adding up to. So pretty neat to see all these patterns, and I know that people like playing with these ones. All right, so if you haven't, I would recommend you go back and try the Desmos activity. It's kind of fun. I'll demonstrate just some of the things that are in the Desmos activity that you got to play around with. Here is that exact answer we just solved. So you can go off and do the same sort of thing that we have, and you can check that it's 73, and it'll tell you if you're right or wrong. Over here, you see this is 107. Again, if I was wrong, it would tell me that, so 107. And then you can go off and fill in all the other ones to see if you're right or wrong. There's different ones for you to play around with as you're discovering all the different angles and questions. You can check and see if you've understood it. This also talks about which property did you use to do that. So if this is 73, this is C, that's opposite, so that's the X pattern. I used that one to get that this was 73. And then you found that this one, well, that's a supplementary angles, right? Because this is 107. So just some stuff to play around with. So that's, you can finish that Desmos activity. And if you wanted additional practice, I'd recommend this is a really neat one, puzzling it out. It allows you to sort of use all these properties to do some fiddling around. So that's this activity here. I've skipped ahead to puzzle 2. So the idea here is you're trying to figure out all these different angles, but you're not given anything. So you have 3 like lives. So you can ask for one of the angles, and you want to be sort of thinking ahead about which one would be best to know. So I think if I know this one, then I can tell you that one. So I'm going to click on it to reveal it. So there's 45. So now, can I get the rest of them as just by knowing that that one's 45? So there's 45, so opposite it is 45. I see a Z pattern, that's going to be 45. And then 180 minus 45, I think that's 135. So let's check my work. And a great visual to show you, yep, that one is 45. That one's 45, and I hope I did my math right. 180 minus 45 is 135, and I've got that. And I only needed one reveal to do that. Okay, you can reset it, or if you get stuck, you can pick another one to reveal. Use one of your life. So reveal another one. I'm going to reveal that one. There it is. I knew it was 135, and then you could go off from there, but you only have 3 reveals to do. And then there's all sorts of different pictures that you can go off and puzzle your way through to try and figure it, and you want to use the least amount of reveals. It's a great activity just to practice your work. So you can do that practice, the puzzling out. You could do the practice in the Desmos activity here, or you can do some textbook work. Either way, it's good to practice so that you're all set for our next day. Good luck.